A man stands in his office, and before him sits a box. The box is in no way ornate. It's unremarkable, sterile, and plain. But the contents of the box, that's another matter. The box has traveled far, more than 8,000 miles from Hong Kong all the way to Fairfax, Virginia. The contents were purchased in markets and from locals of the southwest Guangxi province. It's an area that shares a border with Vietnam. It's a mountainous region with freshwater streams and shallow wetlands. Upon opening the box, the contents are revealed to be 12 turtles. They all have narrow heads and are yellow-green in color. These turtles are small and can easily fit in the palm of one's hand. The year is 1988, and Dr. Carl H. Ernst is about to make a fascinating discovery. Hello and welcome to the Sedgwick County ZooCast Bitesize bonus. I'm your host, Emily Bishop, and in this mini episode, we'll give you the zoo scoop on how SCZ is working to increase the population of the McCord's box turtle. While I hope you'll forgive my rather apocryphal story this episode begins with, I have always had a flair for the dramatic. The basic facts are true. In 1988, Dr. Carl H. Ernst published the paper Quora McCordy, a new Chinese box turtle from Guangxi province. This is the first documented mention of these turtles in a Western publication. And it is true that Ernst's descriptions in his paper were based on observations of 12 specimens delivered by Oscar Shui, a Hong Kong-based turtle dealer. When you picture someone discovering a new species, you probably picture someone dressed head to toe in khaki, exploring a distant land, forging through the quote-unquote unexplored wilderness. It conjures images of Charles Darwin on the Galapagos Islands or Van Pelt from Jumanji. You don't picture a new species being noted in the same year Die Hard was released in theaters and Capcom released Street Fighter, but it's true. Now, while Ernst might have scientifically discovered and named this turtle, people knew about its existence for decades prior. There are stories from local villagers of the Guangxi province about throwing these turtles at water buffaloes due to the turtle sometimes being more abundant than stones, allegedly. But by the time our story begins in 1988, the McCord's box turtle had seen a severe decrease in population. In the late 20th century, exotic pet sales boomed, and the international turtle trade reached Guangxi province in the late 70s. These turtles were caught both for use in traditional Chinese medicine, for food, and for sale in pet trade. Pollution and habitat destruction have also contributed to the decrease in the McCord's turtle population. In 2000, the IUCN Red List marked the McCord's box turtle as critically endangered. It wasn't until the early 2000s that these turtles were documented in the wild. A 2007 expedition for these turtles discovered them in slow-moving, shallow streams. Local residents told researchers that the turtles would often hide beneath bamboo foliage or under bamboo roots, making them difficult to spot. But the turtle's scarcity in the wild was noted not just by researchers, but locals as well. In a 2007 interview, a man claimed that in the 90s he could sell a turtle for around $5, but at the time of the interview, he would be offered around $2,000 per turtle. You might be wondering how the turtle's population has changed over the years since that initial expedition. Well, they're presumed extinct. No McCord's box turtles have been observed in the wild since 2010. They only exist in captive breeding programs. Which brings us to the Sedgwick County Zoo, which is home to 2 adult McCord's box turtles who, in summer 2023, successfully produced a single offspring. McCord's box turtles can lay clutches of 1 to 6 eggs. Our female laid a single egg, and after 90 days of incubation, it successfully hatched. If you've ever visited SCZ and gone through the amphibians and reptiles building, you might be thinking to yourself, I don't think I've ever seen the McCord's box turtle, and you'd be right. Our McCord's box turtles are actually not on exhibit. They're kept in a behind-the-scenes facility. There are hundreds more animals that call Sedgwick County Zoo home than just the ones you see when you visit. If you're wondering why that is, there are a couple reasons. One is simply space. We don't have the space to allow all of our animals to be available for human viewing. And if we did, it would take you days to visit the zoo and see them all. But just because an animal isn't on exhibit one day doesn't mean it won't be in the future. We often rotate our animals on and off exhibit. Another reason is, like with our McCord's box turtles, conservation. When we're trying to successfully breed our animals, we often take them off exhibit. This way they can be more closely monitored by zookeepers and have a little privacy as well. This is the first time Sedgwick County Zoo has bred McCord's box turtles. Prior to now, we didn't have a breeding recommendation from the Species Survival Plan. This program manages the population of endangered animals across zoos that are accredited with the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. By successfully breeding McCord's box turtles, SCZ is helping to ensure future generations are able to see and learn about these turtles. That's what's new at the zoo with the McCord's box turtle breeding program. But keep listening after a brief message about upcoming zoo events to learn about where this turtle gets its name from. Follow the white rabbit to a land of wonder at this year's Wild Lights. Come face to face with one-of-a-kind Asian lantern sculptures. Maybe a Cheshire cat will cross your path, or the Queen's Guard of playing cards. Be the guest of honor at a tea party hosted by a hatter and a hare. Wednesday through Sunday, October 11 through December 17, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Tickets start at $15 and are available online or in person. Journey through the looking glass at Wild Lights. In general, naming conventions for animals are fairly simple. They're usually named after a physical description, like the spotted turtle, named after where they're found, like the Galapagos turtle, or named after a person, which is the case with the McCord's box turtle. This turtle is named after Dr. William Patrick McCord, a veterinarian and turtle expert. And this isn't the only turtle named after him. The Rhode Island snake-necked turtle, which can be found in Indonesia, is more commonly known as McCord's snake-necked turtle. In his aforementioned 1988 paper, Quora McCordy, a new Chinese box turtle from Guangxi province, Dr. Ernst thanks Dr. McCord in the paper's acknowledgments for critically reviewing his manuscript. When explaining the etymology of this turtle in his paper, Ernst wrote, quote, "The name McCordy honors Dr. William P. McCord, who first realized the uniqueness of this turtle and whose husbandry efforts involve freshwater turtles of the world." Thanks for listening to this bite-sized bonus episode of the Sedgwick County ZooCast. For more information on McCord's box turtle breeding, be sure to follow us on social media, which is linked in the description of this episode, and check out our website, scz.org. I've been Emily Bishop, and we hope you enjoyed this mini episode of the Sedgwick County ZooCast. Just like with people, elephants have to go to the doctor for checkups. Although these checkups don't involve sitting in a stuffy waiting room flipping through copies of People magazine from 2014. No, at the zoo, the doctors make house calls. These checkups happen fairly frequently. The elephants sometimes receive foot checks, like you might have your feet checked at a podiatrist. They receive physicals, like you would from a primary care physician. And weekly, they have their blood drawn. These blood draws allow zoo vets to check up on the overall health of the elephant. The blood panel is used to monitor various vitals and chemical levels, such as cortisol, testosterone, and progesterone. And recently, at Sedgwick County Zoo, 2 of our elephants have had a change in their hormone levels, which indicates big news not just for the elephants at our zoo, but at zoos nationwide. Hello and welcome to the Sedgwick County ZooCast Bite-Size Bonus. I'm your host, Emily Bishop, and in this mini episode, we're giving you the zoo scoop on elephant pregnancies. Everything about an elephant is big. They're the biggest land animal, on average measuring around 10 feet tall to the shoulder and weighing over 10,000 pounds. Their ears alone measure around 2 feet wide, about 1/3 the height of the average American man. So it should come as no surprise that elephant pregnancies exist on a larger scale as well. Elephants have the longest gestation period of any mammal, at around 22 months. Part of the reason for this marathon pregnancy is the physical size of the elephant. When they're born, the calves will be around 220 to 330 pounds. This long gestation period also allows calves to be more fully developed upon birth. This means their brains and motor skills are more developed when they're born. And speaking of elephants being born, Sedgwick County Zoo is beyond excited to announce the upcoming birth of 2 elephants. Here's Elephant Care Manager Lauren Ripple.
We've been waiting for several years for one of our elephants to be pregnant, and now not only one, but 2 of them are pregnant.
Simunye and Talia, 2 of the elephants that call SCZ home, are around 4 months into their pregnancies. So we can expect calves on the ground around March of 2025. These pregnancies were confirmed through hormonal observation during routine blood work.
Yeah, their progesterone is elevated for 8 weeks normally. So once it's elevated past that 8 weeks, you can start to suspect that they might be pregnant, but it's really in that 12 to 16 week period. And you need a couple of months worth of that elevated progesterone to comfortably confirm that they are pregnant. So it took a while. It takes 4 to 5 months to confirm a pregnancy in an elephant.
This will be the first time SCZ has had an elephant be born here. You might be thinking to yourself that you're pretty sure you've seen little elephants at the zoo before. If you visited in the early 70s, that would be true. Stephanie and Cinda, the zoo's first elephants, were around 2 years old when they arrived in 1972. And in 2016, when our Eswatini elephants arrived, they were smaller than most elephants due to the fact they were malnourished and because, well, that was 7 years ago. Like people, elephants get bigger as they get older. For example, when Titan, our 14-year-old bull, arrived from Eswatini, he was 7 and weighed around 2,400 pounds. He's nearly tripled in size now and weighs close to 7,000 pounds. So, while SCZ has been home to little elephants, we've never been home to baby elephants. Our mothers-to-be are Simunye and Talia. Simunye is estimated to be around 27 years old and has already had 1 calf, Titan. It is possible that she had other calves when she lived in Eswatini. We can't say for certain one way or the other. Talia, who is around 12, is a first-time mother. And as far as who the father is, well, we'll need to call Maury Povich in 2 years. For Simunye, elephants Kali or Ajani could be the father, and for Talia, it could be Kali, Ajani, or Titan. We won't know until after the calves are born and we're able to do a paternity test. We also won't know the sex of the calves until they're born. Due to their scale in utero, it's difficult to determine sex via ultrasound. If you find yourself at the Sedgwick County Zoo in the next few years, you might want to keep an eye out for Simunye and Talia. Here's Lauren Ripple on how to identify them.
So to identify Simunye, she does have crooked tusks. One goes up a little higher than the other. She has more skin buildup on her face. She actually has a really petite face and small eyes. She'll be one of the bigger adult females compared to all the other juvenile females. Talia is our smallest elephant, which it's hard to tell unless she's next to somebody else because she's 5,000 pounds, which is bigger than a car. But tusks are pretty even. She has a little dent on her forehead, and she does have a scar on her right hip. So that makes her a little easier to tell.
These elephant pregnancies are a huge deal, and we're not just excited because everyone loves baby animals. We're excited because they're significant for the sustainability of African elephants in North America.
Yeah, the North American population is actually coming to a bottleneck where we have a lot of older elephants that are about to age out of the population. Stephanie here is 52 years old. She's tied for the 3rd oldest African elephant in North America, and the longest on record was 56 in North America. So This is huge for the sustainability of the population. We have 2 confirmed pregnancies here, but we actually have another 9 confirmed pregnancies in North America. So having 11 right now is huge to help that sustainability of the population where future generations can come and see them in zoos.
Every elephant birth at an AZA accredited institution plays a crucial role in safeguarding the future of these animals. It ensures that future generations will be able to see them and learn about them. And when we learn to appreciate and care for our animal ambassadors in zoos, it has a direct impact on their wild counterparts. That's what's new at the zoo with African elephant pregnancies. But keep listening after a brief message about upcoming zoo events to learn about what's missing from a baby elephant when it's born. Follow the White Rabbit to a land of wonder at this year's Wild Lights. Come face to face with one-of-a-kind Asian lantern sculptures. Maybe a Cheshire cat will cross your path, or the Queen's Guard of playing cards. Be the guest of honor at a tea party hosted by a hatter and a hare. Wednesday through Sunday, October 11 through December 17, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Tickets start at $15 and are available online or in person. Journey through the Looking Glass at Wild Lights. Elephants' tusks aren't just decorative, they're aids in everyday life. Their tusks are used to dig for water, to strip bark off of trees, and to defend themselves. However, not all elephants have tusks. An estimated 5% of African elephants do not have tusks. Sedgwick County Zoo's elephant Arusi has this genetic mutation. Most likely, the increase in tuskless elephants is the result of poaching. The elephants that don't have tusks are less likely to be poached, and therefore more likely to reproduce and bear offspring that also do not have tusks, and so on and so forth. But you can't tell if an elephant has this mutation at birth because all elephants are born without tusks. Well, that's not completely true. The quote-unquote tusks they have are milk teeth, and they fall out when they're around 1 year old. An elephant's permanent tusks don't start to grow in until they're around 2, and over time will begin to protrude from their lips. A tusk is just an elongated molar tooth. An elephant only grows 1 set of tusks during its lifetime, but their tusks never stop growing. Thanks for listening to this bite-sized bonus episode of the Sedgwick County ZooCast. For more information on elephant pregnancies at the zoo, be sure to follow us on social media, which is linked in the description of this episode. And check out our website, scz.org. I've been Emily Bishop, and we hope you enjoyed this mini episode of the Sedgwick County ZooCast.